Hello, Dr. Kierstin here. I'm so excited that you stumbled upon my page. I am a naturopathic doctor and acupuncturist, and I believe that we have this innate ability to heal ourselves. And so I just want to share a little bit about my process and about myself. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love talking to everyone. This is why I have a free discovery call. So you can ask away during that free session, okay? But before we get to that, let me just kind of explain a little bit about my process. So, what I have found and what I've been working on for the last decade during my own health journey and during my own process through the healthcare system, I have discovered that the way to long lasting change is by starting with the inner self and working our way out. Okay, so often people will come in and they'll come to me with these physical manifestations, physical things that they want to work on, which I totally understand, right? So maybe we have pain, maybe we have an autoimmune condition, maybe we have trouble sleeping, maybe we want to lose weight, maybe we have low energy. So those are kind of like the physical manifestations of what we're experiencing. And so what we like to say is that those are symptoms, those are signs and symptoms of the underlying, the thing that's kind of going on underneath all of that, right? And so what we do as naturopathic doctors is we want to get to the root cause of that. What is causing the insomnia? What is causing this low energy? What is causing the pain, right? Especially when we're talking a lot of chronic long-term conditions here. And so what we do is that we ask a lot of questions. I asked so many questions in that first intake. So our first intake is about an hour and a half, sometimes up to 2 hours. And that's because I'm going deep. I want to know everything about what is going on to help me put the pieces of your puzzle together. Okay. And so what I have found is that when we start with the inner self, and so this means the mental and emotional body of you, this means looking at our patterns and our behaviors, trying to really understand who we are as a person, trying to understand our past and how these, where things kind of started and what else was going on. So, taking a look at our medical history, taking a look at our relationships and at our stressors and at the good things that have gone on in our lives as well, and so that we can start to put these pieces of our own puzzle together. And so this really helps to gain a better understanding of you and of your story. And so we start with this inner self. We start to kind of change the dialogue that we have with ourselves and create a better relationship within ourselves. And so once we start to do that, now we're deeper rooted in this knowing how much we love ourselves, right? And how much we actually care. Okay. And so the reason why this is important is because if we aren't making those physical changes for the right reasons, and if we aren't clear on our values and the things that are important for us, then it's really difficult to make lasting change because they're not rooted in the right intentions. They're not coming from a place of self-love all the time if we haven't done that inner work. Okay, so for some people, this area, the inner self, if you've done a lot of that work already, then we might be able to shorten that length of time. But for many people, we haven't taken the time to ask ourselves those questions and give ourselves that space. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to provide that space for you so that we can start just better understanding you as a person. And then we move into the physical realm, or what I call the embodied self. And so this is where we start looking at how is our diet? How is our movement? How is our water intake? All of these different lifestyle factors that impact the physical body. I also might include some botanical medicine or specific nutraceuticals. It just depends on what that person needs, right? So once we kind of start getting that moving, and once we start to see some progress in the physical body or the embodied self, then we start to think about the what I call interactive self. This is kind of the relational body. This is the part of ourselves that um, that's impacted by our career. So the world around us, it's impacted by our relationships. It's impacted by how we relate to time and money and all of these things that can impact us on a physical level and on the inner self. But they're kind of outside of us, right? So it's how we interact with the world and how the world impacts us. And so that's kind of the last step in the process. And don't get me wrong, all of these things play into one another, and there is certainly overlap, right? Because it's all connected. That's kind of my thing. Everything is connected. And so my goal is to help you become reconnected to your whole self, because we can't just take one piece of you and just work on that, right? We all know, even with wanting abs, you can't just do a bunch of sit-ups and expect to have great abs, right? Like, it's a whole body thing. And and so that's a lot of what I do, and that's kind of my process. And again, I do this because what I realize is, if we just work on the physical body, on working on just the diet and just the movement, then it doesn't it doesn't last. This is how we get yo-yoing and cycling through things, because we're not rooted on the inside. Um, so it's really important, the process that I've kind of, again, it's taken me many years to figure out the right tools, and I'm always working on perfecting this and improving this process and making it the most efficient and effective process for you, because I've been there, right? I've been through this, and so I understand how confusing it can be to kind of navigate all of this on your own, right? This is why I spent 8 years in school doing all of this learning, so that you don't have to. And so my goal is to help share what I have learned in an efficient and effective way for you, so that you can accelerate your healing and your journey to health. So I am here for you, and I am excited for you, and I am hopeful for you, and I'm cheering you on. So I look forward to seeing you in the discovery call. Again, if you have questions, start there. Okay, that's where we always start. I want to talk to you, and I want to see how we can work together, and if this is the right process for you. So book a discovery call, and I will see you there.